Here is Representative-elect Sarah McBride being asked about the obsessive focus on bathrooms that the right has greeted her election with.
A man is a man and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe, that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said, but I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity.
Do you believe that you are being treated with dignity by your colleagues?
I didn't run for the United States House of Representatives to talk about what bathroom I use. I didn't run to talk about myself. I ran to deliver for Delawareans. And while Republicans in Congress seem focused on bathrooms and trans people, and specifically me, I'm focused on rolling up my sleeves, diving into the details, setting up my office, and beginning the hard work of delivering for Delawareans on the issues that I know keep them up at night.
Okay, and so look, that is Representative-elect McBride being like rising above it and being very professional and all of that while being surrounded by people who are doing all of the insane, grifty, transphobic stuff that they're doing. And so, look, I respect that. I don't respect those individuals. Mike Johnson trying to hide behind scripture as if that dude who's gonna give Trump everything he wants gives a damn about scripture. Scripture, which by the way, shows a biological man's bone being turned into a woman or whatever. So it gets a little bit strange with the world building there. But anyway, nonsense to me. I'm gonna let the representative-elect talk a little bit more about why they're doing this, though, because I think that's the most important part.
I think we are all united that attempts to attack a vulnerable community are not only mean-spirited, but really an attempt to misdirect. Because every single time we hear the incoming administration or Republicans in Congress talk about any vulnerable group in this country, we have to be clear that it is an attempt to distract. It is an attempt to distract from what they are actually doing. Every single time we hear them say the word trans, look what they're doing with their right hand. Look at what they're doing to pick the pocket of American workers, to fleece seniors by privatizing Social Security and Medicare. Look what they're doing, undermining workers. And here's also what we have to be clear about, because I think the last week has been a prime example of this. Every bit of time and energy that is used to divert the attention of the federal government to go after trans people is time and energy that is not focused on addressing the cost of living for our constituents. And we have to be clear that there is a real cost for the American worker every time they focus on this.
She talks about the fact that it's not a coincidence that Nancy Mace is both pushing for this policy change and also sending out just constant fundraising emails about it. And more importantly than the personal grifting that Nancy Mace is doing, she's trying to make money, she's trying to get put onto Fox News, all of that. It is representative of something that a lot of people, but we especially have talked about constantly, which is they're doing this thing, they're shaking the keys of, oh, there might be a trans person in the bathroom, let's take away all their rights, which is terrible in its own right. But then with their other hand, what are they doing? What are the people who get distracted by that issue allowing to slip past them without critiquing? Maybe something that cuts entirely against everything you thought you were voting for when you elected the Republicans. And so I think that's constantly what the right is doing. I think that's what both their elected officials as well as their media arm is designed to do. And I'm glad that the representative-elect is making that point as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's not even in office yet. I mean, that's what's wild. She's like, I'm looking forward to setting up my office. I'm not even there yet. And people are attacking me. And I have been thinking about Sarah McBride for a while now. I've been thinking about her and I've been watching what she says. And I have a couple thoughts. Number one, I think her rising above it is absolutely the right way to go right now. And to remind people, especially her voters, what she is there to do, what she looks forward to doing, how she wants to deliver for the American people. She talks about the economy. She talks about, an economic agenda that works for all people, right? Like, I don't know her politics particularly if she's fairly progressive, but this is important. It's important to really focus on these issues. That being said, the right is not going to leave her alone. If there's one thing we know, it is that they will absolutely weaponize someone's identity against them, again, and turn the entire nation against them. They will call in their death threats against the first Muslim women elected to Congress, like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. They will obviously go against AOC for daring to, I don't know, dance in a music video in college, right? Like they will find a reason and they will go after them incessantly. And so this is my point about generally trans issues in this country. They are absolutely part of a distraction culture war, yes. However, if we do not actually look at some of the transphobia dead on and have plans for protecting trans people, Sarah McBride may be okay, although I don't know, I would be very, very concerned about her well-being as she tries to serve her terms, right? Or her term. But more broadly, right? Like what does this mean for trans people nationwide? Like this, I feel like we can do both things. We can say,
100%.
We need a broader agenda that includes all people, that really like gets the Democratic Party back to its, progressive roots or FDR roots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here is our plan to defend trans people, because if we don't, they're literally terrorizing them. And yes, we will stand up for them. So we can walk and chew gum here.
100%. I mean, we literally can, because we have 90 minutes a day just on this program, let alone your multiple broadcasts. But also, and we've made this clear 1,000 times. I'm sure that we don't need to, but just in case, when we identify something like this as a distraction, we are never, ever implying that it is not a serious issue.
Exactly.
We're calling it distraction because that is what they are trying to make it be. It could be significant too at the exact same time, and this is. And by the way, I understand the confusion, because some people will be like, that's a distraction. There are people like that. We're not doing that, to be very clear. The fact that we're dedicating, the entire first third of our hour to these issues should imply that we deeply care about it. And that's why we want to lift up people making good arguments in this area, both McBride and AOC. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.